In 1984, she starred in Gremlins. This was a huge horror comedy produced by Steven Spielberg. In this movie, she didn't wear a bikini at all. She played a girl named Kate who worked at a bank and had a very dark story about why she hated Christmas. This role showed a different side of her. She was sweet, relatable, and very talented. The photos of her from Gremlins show her in normal clothes, looking like the girl next door. It proved to Hollywood that she was more than just a pretty face. She was a real actress who could hold her own in a big-budget blockbuster. Gremlins was a massive success and is still a classic movie that people watch every single year. As the 1980s continued, Phoebe kept working steadily. She appeared in a TV miniseries called Lace, where she played a character named Lily. This role was very different because she played a glamorous and sophisticated woman. There's a famous line she says in that show that people still quote today. The photos of her from Lace show her in high-fashion outfits, looking very grown-up and elegant. She was proving that she could transition from a teen idol to a serious adult actress. But while her career was going great, something happened in her personal life that would change everything. In the early 80s, Phoebe went to an audition for a movie called The Big Chill. She didn't get the part, but she met someone who would change her life. That person was Kevin Kline, a very talented and respected actor. Even though he was 16 years older than her, they felt a strong connection. They started dating and eventually got married in 1989. This was a turning point for Phoebe. She began to realize that as much as she loved acting, she loved her private life even more. She and Kevin decided to start a family, and that is when her priorities really shifted. Phoebe continued to act in a few more movies in the early 90s, like Drop Dead Fred and Princess Caribou. Drop Dead Fred became a cult classic, and photos of her from that movie show her with a very different, quirky look. But by the mid-90s, she made a choice that very few people in Hollywood ever make. She decided to step away from the cameras. She had 2 children, Owen and Greta, and she wanted to be a full-time mother. She didn't want to spend months away from home on movie sets. She wanted to be there for every school play and every dinner. She chose her family over fame. For many years, fans wondered if she would ever come back. Every once in a while, she would appear on a red carpet with her husband, Kevin Kline, and the photos would immediately go viral. People were amazed by how she seemed to never age. She still had that same beautiful smile and the same glowing skin. But she wasn't looking for a comeback. Instead, she opened a small boutique store in New York City called Blue Tree. She spends her days there, picking out unique gifts, toys, and clothes for her customers. She traded the bright lights of Hollywood for a quiet life in the city she loves. Thank you so much for watching this journey through the life and photos of Phoebe Cates. It is amazing to see how one person can leave such a huge mark on the world with just a few years of work. Her story is a great reminder that you can be successful and still choose a simple, happy life. If you enjoyed looking back at these classic moments, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and tell us in the comments what your favorite Phoebe Cates movie is. Was it the classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Or did you love her in Gremlins? We love hearing your stories and your memories of the 80s. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our deep dives into the lives of your favorite stars. We have many more stories to tell, and you won't want to miss a single one. See you in the next video. If you grew up in the 1980s, there is one specific image that is probably burned into your mind forever. It is the image of a girl climbing out of a swimming pool, wearing a bright red bikini, while slow-motion music plays in the background. That girl was Phoebe Cates, and in that one moment, she became the ultimate dream girl for an entire generation. But there is so much more to her story than just one scene in a movie. She was a model, a dancer, a singer, and one of the biggest movie stars of her time. In this video, we're going to take a deep look at the photos and the moments that made her famous. We will talk about her early days as a teen model, her most iconic movie roles, and the photos that still make people talk today. You really want to stay with us until the very end of the video because we are going to talk about where she is now. She made a very surprising choice to leave Hollywood when she was at the top of her fame, and the reason why is something you won't want to miss. Phoebe Cates was born in New York City, and she was surrounded by the world of entertainment from the day she was born. Her father and her uncle were both very successful television and Broadway producers. This meant she grew up knowing how the industry worked. However, she didn't start out wanting to be an actress. Her first big dream was to be a professional dancer. She was very talented and even won a scholarship to the School of American Ballet. Sadly, a bad knee injury ended her dance career when she was just 15 years old. Most people would be crushed by that, but Phoebe didn't give up. She decided to use her natural beauty to start a career in modeling. Even in her earliest photos, you can see why she became a star so quickly. She had a unique look that combined her father's European roots with her mother's Chinese-Filipino heritage. This gave her a look that was exotic, fresh, and perfect for the cameras. By the time she was a teenager, Phoebe was appearing on the covers of major magazines like 17 and Tiger Beat. These early photos show a young girl who is incredibly comfortable in front of the lens. She had a smile that felt genuine and eyes that seemed to tell a story. Modeling paid very well, and she was making thousands of dollars a day while she was still in high school. But Phoebe later admitted that she didn't really love modeling. She felt it was a bit boring and repetitive. She wanted a bigger challenge, so she decided to move into acting. Her first big break came in 1982 with a movie called Paradise. This movie was filmed in the beautiful deserts of Israel, and it featured Phoebe in a lot of tropical and desert scenes. The photos from this film are some of the most beautiful ever taken of her. They captured her in a very natural, simple way, often wearing very little as the character survived in the wild. Paradise was a big hit at the box office, but it also caused some drama. There were many scenes where Phoebe appeared without clothes, and she later felt that the movie focused a bit too much on her body rather than her acting. She even felt upset when she learned that a body double was used for some scenes without her knowing. Despite the controversy, Paradise proved that she was a star. But nothing could prepare her for what happened later that same year. She was cast in a movie called Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This was a high school comedy that featured a lot of young actors who would eventually become huge stars, like Sean Penn and Nicolas Cage. But out of everyone in that movie, it was Phoebe Cates who walked away with the most famous scene in movie history. The scene takes place at a swimming pool. Phoebe's character, Linda Barrett, is climbing out of the water while the song, Moving in Stereo, plays. She is wearing a simple red bikini, but the way the scene was filmed in slow motion made it legendary. Photographers on the set captured stills of her in that red bikini, and those photos became some of the best-selling posters of the decade. Even today, if you mention the name Phoebe Cates, most people will immediately think of that red bikini. It wasn't just about how she looked, it was about the confidence she had. She wasn't just a girl in a swimsuit, she was a symbol of the 1980s. That moment turned her into a household name overnight. After the massive success of Fast Times, Phoebe became the girl every director wanted in their movie. In 1983, she starred in another film called Private School. This movie leaned even more into her dream girl image. There are many photos of her from the set of this movie, often by the pool or in school settings, that showed off her athletic and toned look. She even sang the title song for the movie. People couldn't get enough of her. She was everywhere on posters in magazines and on the big screen. However, Phoebe was smart. She knew that if she only did movies where she wore bikinis, her career wouldn't last forever. She wanted to prove that she could really act, and that is when she took a role in a very different kind of movie. In 1984, she starred in Gremlins. This was a huge horror comedy produced by Steven Spielberg. In this movie, she didn't wear a bikini at all. She played a girl named Kate who worked at a bank and had a very dark story about why she hated Christmas. This role showed a different side of her. She was sweet, relatable, and very talented. The photos of her from Gremlins show her in normal clothes, looking like the girl next door. It proved to Hollywood that she was more than just a pretty face. She was a real actress who could hold her own in a big-budget blockbuster. Gremlins was a massive success and is still a classic movie that people watch every single year. As the 1980s continued, Phoebe kept working steadily. She appeared in a TV miniseries called Lace, where she played a character named Lily. This role was very different because she played a glamorous and sophisticated woman. There is a famous line she says in that show that people still quote today. The photos of her from Lace show her in high-fashion outfits, looking very grown-up and elegant. She was proving that she could transition from a teen idol to a serious adult actress. But while her career was going great, something happened in her personal life that would change everything.